And now a tutorial. How to create a starter base in Satisfactory in 3 easy steps. Step 1, lay out some machines and unlock some stuff. Step 2, lay out some foundations. And finally, step 3, build the rest of the base. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Satisfactory. This is episode number 14, and today we are going to finish the starter base that we've been working on for some time right there. We got a few things to unlock in the hub. Oh, I fell right through. That's kind of weird. What happened? I guess I'm in the water. Anyway, we are going to unlock a few things in the hub. We're going to finish up the last few things remaining in the research, the MAM. We needed some stuff that we started making the last few episodes, like the aluminum plates, to finish that up. So we're going to unlock the rest of the stuff. We're going to finish off the storage. We've got 5 new items to add to that storage, including the aluminum plates that we started making last episode. But speaking of aluminum plates, we did leave that area functionally complete, but a little bit lacking in style and pizzazz. So let's take a trip back over to the aluminum plate area and let's give it a look-see. So here we are, and the aluminum area has been given a visual overhaul. I've added some walkways and some of the frame foundations, and in general tried to give it an industrial look. I also gave it its own color scheme on the paint gun, so even if I decide I don't like these colors, we can just change them just by adjusting some sliders in the paint gun menu. But I think it looks pretty good. It has a properly industrial feel. I tried to make this area under here feel a bit cramped and claustrophobic, as you might expect from an industrial plant. Its only real concern is with the industrial processes, not with making people feel cozy and at home. And while we're here, we do actually need to do a few things. We need to upgrade some of the belts to tier 5, which we did not have access to before because they require aluminum plates. But we designed this place to make aluminum plates, so now we have aluminum plates. So the first place we need a tier 5 belt is right here, where all the bauxite lines are merging from the 3 different miners. Oh yeah, look at that guy. He is super chunky. That is a nice looking conveyor belt. We've got 500 or so here, and then they split, and then the tier 3 on either side is just fine. The other place we need to upgrade the belts is right here, where the aluminum scrap is popping out of this refinery here, and also the refinery down there at the end of the line, each one doing, I think, 360, for a total of 720. Our tier 5 belt, if we look at the number, it can handle 780. So that should be good. We need to upgrade the lift, which should also take care of that, because that should have auto-connected there. There's no actual belt there, I don't think. But I guess we'll find out if it looks like it is slow. Oh my gosh, that looks super fast. I could see the treads underneath the aluminum scrap for a second as the belt updated. That looked crazy. Alright, we need to upgrade that. A little lag as I update things. That guy right there needs to get updated. And then we need this belt pretty much going all the way up until it splits up. And then the last one we need is right there. Oh, that tier 5 belt doesn't really fit with the lift. A little bit of an issue there. Oh my gosh, that is incredible. That's amazing. And then it gets split into 3, so we don't actually need to upgrade these. But that looks crazy. Look at all those items. Wow. So that about does it for this area. I also needed to upgrade the silica belt to a tier 5, and now we have a solid 120 aluminum plates popping out of there per minute. We might need an additional train to supply the silica faster. I don't know. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that. But besides that, this area is done. It's functional, it's self-sufficient, and it looks cool, which is, of course, the most important part of any base, is that it looks cool. Functional is pretty good. Cool is very important. Anyway, with all this done, our aluminum is getting auto-delivered to our base. So, with that in mind, let's go back, let's finish up our starter base. So, back here at the base, the aluminum plates are now on a belt parallel with all the other ingredients coming in from our outposts and getting fed into our starter base, which looks like a great white shark painted magenta and covered with parasites. But don't worry, we're going to scrape off all of these sucker fish off the side of our majestic beast once we're done setting up the rest of the stuff that we need to do today. So what we need to do, we need to unlock 4 things, 2 from the hub and the remaining 2 items from the MAM for the research. And then we're going to hook up the final 5 things that we're going to need in our storage area there, which will be used to build the actual base, the real base, the mega base. First thing we're going to unlock today is we're just going to go ahead and unlock this. We skipped the fuel generators. We will go straight to nuclear power for our final power solutions. But one thing I would like to get is the conveyor belts Mark IV and the conveyor lift Mark IV. Kind of funny that we skipped that to go straight to Mark V. Just sort of the way it worked out with this particular base and our location and whatnot. The order we did things.
The fuel generator will match power generation to the increased consumption of recently acquired technologies and buildings.
Not on my watch.
Additionally, improved conveyor belts and lifts can now be constructed. Continuing scanning unlocked.
Okay, so that's unlocked. And we have another to unlock, but we have to wait for that guy to come back. So in here we have 2 different types of splitters to unlock, and I have automated now the supercomputers. And that's one of the things we're going to be adding to our storage, so we can unlock the programmable splitter. Start research, 8 minutes. And there's a little shuttlecraft just landing back again, and we're ready to unlock another thing from Tier 7. We are going to unlock advanced aluminum production. Now that we have the aluminum plates, we're going to get access to Miner Mark III, which we'll need for our mega base, and we're going to unlock turbo motors, which is going to be the objective for our mega base. They are the most complicated item in the game in terms of the awesome sink. So that's what we'll be generating in our mega base to feed into an awesome sink to get all the tickets to unlock the statues.
Can now be produced, which are necessary to build the Miner Mark III.
Yes.
Batteries can be used as a fuel source for vehicles.
Yes. Hooray, programmable splitter. Last thing to unlock from the research is the radio control unit, which we need to make the turbo motors. 3 seconds. Oh, that's very convenient. We don't have to wait. The analysis is completed. Nice. Research finished. So you may remember from the last time we worked on the top floor of the temporary starter base that it looked a little bit empty, but it's not empty anymore. I have since added in all the machines that we need for the remaining 5 items that are going to go down to the storage area. One of those items is the aluminum plates. It gets brought up here on a belt, and it gets sent down that way, where it's going to make some heat sinks. And it also gets split and sent down to the storage area. Here are the holes in the wall where we're going to send the 5 new items. And we have added quite a bit of new machines since last we were up here. So let's just go over things one at a time. First, we have AI limiters getting made here in these assembly machines. They're made from quick wire and copper sheets, and they are going to be used. Pretty much the only thing we're going to use them for is to make some smart splitters, which I won't use that much, but we will need them here and there. So that is getting added to the storage area. Next up, we got this manufacturer, which is making some high-speed connectors. The high-speed connectors are going to be useful in producing Tier 3 power poles, geothermal generators, and also nuclear power plants. And then, moving right on down the line, we have a manufacturer making some supercomputers. These are going to be used for geothermal generators, nuclear power plants, and also programmable splitters, which I will probably never make. Just beyond the supercomputer manufacturer, we have another manufacturer. This guy is making crystal oscillators, and that is not getting added to the storage area, but we need it as a byproduct to create what's next on the line. This manufacturer doesn't have a recipe. He needs to be making radio control unit, which takes heat sinks, rubber, crystal oscillators, which we just looked at, and computers. So now he can start to work. I didn't go over, but I already set up the heat sinks right here in these assemblers. They're made from the aluminum plates, which are coming in from way down there, which we just started making last episode. And also rubber right there. It's getting split into two different machines, and they are end-to-end like this because this is the amount of space I had. So we set them up like that, and they are getting used for that guy. The radio control unit guy, which we just set up. And they also are needed for our final manufacturer making turbo motors, which require the radio control unit we just set up, the heat sinks I just looked at, the motors we were already making, and the rubber coming in from our oil outpost. This is going to get made super slowly. This is just the starter base after all, but we will need them, so we are going to be making them. And now, with that done, we can set up the remaining part of the belts, connect up the things for the storage to be functional. Right here. Here's the last one. The aluminum plates, and then the 4 other belts for the 4 other things we just talked about. The AI limiters, the high-speed connectors, the supercomputer, and the turbo motor, which will go right there. And they all do pretty much exactly the same thing. They go outside of the base, they go down. They hug the underside of this floor, which is wider than the floor below it. They go down again, right down to here, to our lovely, cozy interstitial space, and we can connect them up to our storage. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All these are tier 1 belts, except for the aluminum, which will be the last one. This, for whatever reason, is that's the wrong tier. That's the turbo motor. We definitely do not need that tier of belt. Tier 1 belt will work fine. This one technically is tier 2. We're doing 120, but in order to facilitate the speedy delivery from our train station, and there's a sort of a buffer there. To act as a buffer, I'm using tier 3 belts. And just like that, our storage area is actually complete. That's fantastic. And for these last 5 items, well, not counting aluminum plates, but for these 4 right here, they're all extremely expensive. And so I've decided to limit the storage containers by just putting some leaves in here. Oh, this one's wrong. I just want the single. It doesn't really matter, but it looks nicer. It's only going to fill up with 10 stacks of the AI limiter there, and similar here with the high-speed connector. And the supercomputer, and then the turbo motor, which is sitting right there, looking fantastic. I've limited it to just 5 stacks, which that's probably too many as well. I may limit that down to like 2 stacks. So it's not sucking up all our resources from other stuff. And then the aluminum plates are right here, and they're filling up. They're getting used for other stuff up above. And we also have 4 extra flex spots for the storage. Should I decide we need to add something else in the future, or if there's a patch or something, and they add a new item, we have a little bit of space here in order to add that. Hooray! So now that the storage area is all taken care of, it's time to start the cleanup, and we're going to start with that over here with all these machines we use to create the different materials used in unlocking the different tiers in the space elevator. And since we unlocked all that stuff, we no longer need those materials ever again, and we don't need this stuff ever again. So we're going to deconstruct all of it and dump all of it into the awesome sink. We're going to use our tier 5 belts, which means it should empty out quite a bit faster. I don't know if that's going to connect. Yeah, it will. Then I need to connect this side over here with a belt lift guy. Up there. Right there. Alright, that should be good. And then I'm going to dump all my stuff that I'm currently carrying, because I carry a little bit of everything. I'm going to put it all in these containers. So I'm not trashing all the stuff I like to have on my person. I will grab that, one of the packaged fuel guys, for my jetpack. Let's head back up to the top of this guy, and we're just going to basically blitz through all this stuff. Got a pretty good amount of space here, and let's see, is there anything on the other side of these I need to watch out for? There's a limestone miner guy over there. But back here, there's pretty much nothing. Alright, so I can just kind of do this kind of thing. Let's see if my inventory can handle it. Huh, what do you know? All of those machines, all those platforms and belts and everything fits into my inventory rather comfortably. So I guess I a little bit overdid all this. So next up on the chopping block is all this scaffolding hanging off the side of the base. Of course, I got to be a little bit more careful with this than with that other area, but it shouldn't take that long. Gonna clean up all these stuff. We'll have to fill in all these little wall spaces. And then, whoop, oh, jetpack. Wasn't wearing it. Took me by surprise a little bit. Maybe it's better if we go up to the top and work our way down. That's probably a better idea. Maybe I could just, no, it's a bad idea. Let's wait till we get up there. Let's not do it while I'm utilizing the jump pads. Another excuse to use my jump pads. Alright, all this stuff. I can probably do this one while I'm falling. Although we might get the stuff below it. Okay, let's just play it safe. No need to be crazy. Okay, so little guys like this, they are getting the boots, and little guys like that getting deleted. And I should probably close these up as well while I'm up here and while I got something to stand on the outside of the base. Make sure it all gets cleaned up. We will do a cosmetic pass after we're done with this. One thing at a time, though. Clean that up, and then we can work our way backwards. Get rid of all this stuff. And we should be left with just a cool-looking exterior with a bunch of conveyor belts going sideways or up and down. Get rid of you, and you, and you. And all these guys that got lifted underneath here. There is like a little bit of a gap here. We will take care of that when we do the cosmetic pass. We will do probably what we'll do is we'll try to place some of the items like this guy, the inverted quarter pipe along the upper level, facing like that. One thing at a time. Get rid of that. Make sure it all looks cleaned up. Rinse and repeat. And I guess there's a bunch of wall tiles missing here. Hopefully none of these are blocked. I guess if they are, then we just have a rather scenic not window. Invalid. It's not invalid. It's just not. The cursor cannot tell where I want it to be. There we go. All right, fill all that in, and we'll also change a lot of this to windows as well. Oh, that guy right there. Okay, unfortunate. I should have thought of this ahead of time. I should have been working on this as we went. But basically, to get a wall to fit there, fell off. I'm going to have to deconstruct the splitters, put the wall in, and then put the splitters back. I will do that from the other side. I will do that from the other side, because that's going to be a little bit fiddly. Let's do all the easy stuff first. And there we go, scaffolding all cleaned up, and it already looks way nicer. We've got all the cool belts along the outside. I wanted to avoid basically the giant brick base, which I see a lot of other people make. And it just sort of looks like a big plain wall. Not this base. We got all kinds of crazy stuff on the outside. Now we need to start working on some cosmetic stuff. So we're going to do a similar thing we did with the levels below here, where we add some inverted shapes just to give it some detail, give it some interesting looks. And we're also going to replace a lot of these walls with windows. There seems like a lot of these places I might not. No, it looks like I can put it there, but right there I can't. Maybe I can do one of these other ones. So if we go to foundations and the inverted ones, what about this guy? You're gonna fit? I have to actually, maybe I should fly up there. Yeah, I can't really see. But if we have to skip some because of details, that's okay. We're also going to round around the corner, and then we have to worry about the nose and the roof. Bam! There we go. Lots of details. All kinds of windows and different types of panels. And we got some balconies. We even have some ramps leading between the two different levels. Looks pretty crazy. And that is by design. So we have a few steps left to take care of. One, we need a roof. Two, we need to address the front of the thing. Or the nose or whatever. That side, it's just wide open. What happened there? That's weird. Okay. Let's try that again. What was I saying? We got 2 steps left. The nose, wide open. The roof, wide open. We'll start with the roof. We're going to put a roof on the thing. It's going to be, I think, mostly going to be composed of these guys right here. The walkway ramps. And in order to make those, what we need is they need to attach to a foundation. So I'm going to land on the edge of this wall right here, and we're just going to get started, I think, like that. And then, I guess I got to I got to rotate it. Okay. And I can't attach this next to itself. So we could either run this sideways if I want a flat roof, or a little part of a flat roof on the side, or instead we could just run this all the way down. And then, on the other side, we're going to have a ramp that's going to come up to meet the other ramp. Ramps upon ramps. It is, it may get a little bit messy because we've got some random belts popping up here and there, but that is kind of part of the charm. It's really important to inject a little bit of chaos into your base. You don't want a perfectly organized and, let's say, tame. You don't want something too tame. You want your base to be ideally like a barely contained wild animal that is, at least for the moment, agreed to not murder you on the spot. So that's what we're going for. An animal that has agreed momentarily not to murder us on the spot. That's what I go for in my bases. Alright, well, I've pretty much finished all the cosmetic stuff on the outside of the base, and there are just a few minor details to take care of on the inside of the base. There's a few spots where we are producing a lot of stuff, and the Tier 3 belts we had made the base with initially just aren't enough. And now that we have the Tier 4 and the Tier 5 belts, we can fix these little bottlenecks that have been here the whole time. One of those places is here where we're making screws. 10 iron rods makes 40 screws. And so we need to upgrade to a Tier 4 belt. Each of these pairs is putting out 80 a minute. So that's 80, 160, and then 240 up to this point. So this Tier 3 belt that does 270 a minute, that's fine. Everything after this merger right here needs to get upgraded to Tier 4. So I basically need to update this belt everywhere, as well as the lifts, until it gets split in some other process making something else. And here's another spot that needs a Tier 4 belt. We're bringing in 270 copper ingots from our Tier 3 belt that we've had for a long time, but that number doubles when we turn it into wire. So this pair generates 60 copper wire, this pair adds up to 120, and then 180, and then 240, so this is fine for a Tier 3 belt. Everything after that, Tier 4. So we're just going to go around, and I'm going to upgrade the rest of these belts. I think there's another one, or maybe 2 more. We definitely need to upgrade the quick wire, and I'm just going to double check everything, make sure everything works, and also make sure I haven't broken anything with all these little modifications and little fiddly bits here and there. Make sure everything is still tip-top and operational, and then we'll be done. So anyway, after much ado, the starter base is now totally finished, and I have built a Tier 5 conveyor belt around the entire thing so we can get a panorama view. This is, I guess, sort of the clean side facing the waterfall. It's the scenic side where we look out from our storage, and all of our other machines down there. Around the back is sort of the industrial side where all of the ingredients get lifted up. And there's a lot of frameworks and stuff basically anchoring the thing to the ground because of the giant cantilever on the other side, which, you know, technically we don't need that, but it just makes it look a little bit more grounded, I guess, or a little bit more industrial. I don't know. On this side, all the conveyor belts going up, down, sideways, left, right, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's pretty cool. And I'm happy with the way it turned out. In the future, we are going to start working on our mega base. But that's going to be a story for another time. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.